Okay, everyone, welcome to the live video. My name is Vikram. I am cybersecurity expert. Today, we will be discussing a real attack and how to investigate a real incident if there is something called compromise in a machine. If machine have been hacked by the attacker and attacker is controlling that machine, what the things an analyst should check? What are how we can verify if this is a real attack or it's a false positive? In cybersecurity, everything is just rely on the true positive and false positive. And this is the learning first. I will be continuing my video. I will not wait for anybody now. I will be starting as we have time constraint, and then I will be continuing discussing in the is attack, and this will be a very good session with my understanding, and I hope you will like it. If you like it, just please share it with your friends, and then subscribe to my channel if you haven't done yet. Okay, so when we talk about a real attack investigation, and in cybersecurity there are two things which very common and known to everybody. It's either a true positive or a false positive. True positive is something when you are investigating, you find that is something which you was expecting and had happened, and you got an alert for that as well. False positive, when you got some alert, you are investigating and you find out that this activity is not an attack. Yeah, but in true positive case, that activity was a possible attack. That activity was done by an attacker, or you identify a real attacker or hacker in your network or system. If you have any difficulties listening to me, please mention in the comment section. I will be checking any issues, but if you are hearing me well, please mention the same as well. So I will be continuing without any gaps or the time lapse. Yeah, okay. When we are saying if we identified a false positive, that probably that the logic we looking forward, it's not matching true attack. Okay, so let me share my screen. I will go through some real-time scenario. First of all, I will be giving an understanding about the true positive and false positive, what the approach an analyst or an cybersecurity analyst or expert should have before starting and concluding something is it a true or false alert. Wow. Okay, so now I think my screen is visible. I'm sharing this whiteboard screen also. Let me just now reopen this whiteboard. Okay, so for example, there is a machine. Okay, an attacker is controlling this machine. This is the attacker machine, for example. Yeah, this is your company. Sorry for my drawing again. It's a long time I'm not using this pad to draw any picture, but I will try to draw the best. This is the company you are monitoring. You are sitting here in a SOC team. Okay, you are monitoring any attack coming to your devices like routers, switches, firewall, servers, endpoints, user accounts. There are different varieties of attack like brute force, authentication failure, password spray attack, brute port scanning, vulnerability exploitation, SQL injection, cross-site scripting, a DOS attack. There's varieties of different attacks you are monitoring in your operation. Okay, based on the logs generated by the devices in your network. For example, an alert triggered. Okay, pen also. Whenever any alert triggered for you to investigate, before starting checking so many things, you have to first understand why this alert trigger. What is the cause of this alert to trigger? because alert is triggering based on some logic, based on some correlation rule. So what is the logic? Understand the logic always. What is the logic? For example, is it port scanning? What is the logic? Why? Is it a vertical port scanning? Is it a horizontal port scanning? It is a one attacker, multiple targets, single target. Which ports targeting? Is it like single port, multiple ports? What is the it is an internal IP, external IP address? Is it like coming from the external, which IP address? What is the reputation of that IP address? So first understand the logic behind of that rule or the alert. If for example the logic is looking for a port scanning towards multiple destination, multiple target, source can be internal, the port is a single port, then verify, is it a correct logic? What you are seeing in the event, what is source of the event? Source, is it a firewall? Is it IPS? Is it IDS? Is it some AV alert? What is it? Right? So then if you feel that yes, this logic is correct, and the source, you know the source, then you start investigating. The, there's a SOP, standard operating procedure, you follow. And maybe you can conclude if, okay, the port scanning, for example, it's internal IP address, doing some port scanning on port 22, multiple destination IP address, it's not normal traffic. If there is some internal machine sending traffic to multiple destination IP on port 22, it's not normal. It's not normal. Check the time frame. What is the time range when attacker doing this attack? Is it a 1 minute time frame? Is it like 24 hour? Is it like 7 days? If it is 7 days, false positive. If in 7 days, maybe the source user is an admin machine. You should check the source machine to which user it belongs to. What is the machine? What is the ownership of the user? What is the privilege assigned to the user? Is it the daily operation, daily admin activity he is doing? Maybe he is logging to the servers. It's false positive if it is an activity of 30 days. But if it is an activity of 5 minutes, there's a higher possibilities, it's a true positive. Yeah, so time frame, time period is important for you to conclude if it is a true or false attack, to understand what is happening, if it is a port scanning happening. Yeah, so what now, for example, you are not sure, let's say not sure if it is a true or false, again based on the time frame, trend, user account, machine name. Whenever you're doing the investigation, always understand that few artifacts you should always consider to check. User account, which user, machine name, IP address, these three are important. Let's consider these three first. Okay, I will give you very simple example. Okay, you will understand. Let me just go to the next, delete this, all this. Let me close this. This is not closing. Whiteboard. Okay. Yeah. So example, let's assume, you know, the bus stop, the bus station, for example. Bus station. If you want to go somewhere from one place to another place, you will go to this bus station, buy the ticket, board the bus. Bus will go from one place to another bus station. Yeah, there's so many people coming here and there, always, like so many people are coming every day. The different buses. Going from one place to another bus station. One place to another bus station. It's a very interesting example. Yeah. So, for example, you are owner of this bus station. For example, you are owner of this bus station. This is your bus station. You know about all the drivers because every bus has a driver and a conductor. For example, driver and conductor, driver and conductor, driver and conductor. You know the ticketing system. If anybody want to board a bus, that person have to buy a ticket. They have to pay for it. We will bear the you will get they will get the ticket. They will board the bus and will travel from one bus station to another bus station. So now let's assume this bus station is a computer machine. Okay, the ticket is a token, is the credentials. For example, you are coming in, there is a CCTV camera recording you that you are coming in, you are paying the price, getting the ticket, getting authenticated. For example, you're boarding the bus and going from here and there. So now, for example, if you want to open a browser, if a user want to open a browser, user first have to authenticate, right? User have to first log in into that machine with the username and password. Once the user logged in, it will get a token. Then to visit a website, for example, user want to open a website of YouTube, okay, Facebook. So they have to send a bus, for example. Now one bus, for example, bus is a process. In this case, if a user browsing a website is a browser. Okay. So if you want to use that browser to visit a website, you will know this browser, for example, Chrome, visited YouTube website at this time by which user account, who verified the authentication, everything. So whatever the activities you are seeing in an operating system, always consider as there will be always a driver. Okay, there is always a bus, and let's understand if driver, right? So the driving the bus, let's consider that as a user account. Okay, forget about the ticketing. Okay, so the driver is a user account. Okay, yes, so driver is a user account, bus is a process. Okay, so whenever a driver comes in, there's so many records, there's so many verification done for the user, then the user account created into the machine in operating systems, and then we assign a bus, and then bus going from here and there. So whenever anything compromised, any compromise detected into your machine, so what you have to always understand, there will always be a user or a process. Okay, there might be some address of this machine also. This bus station is being called through an IP address or the host name. Okay, now let me use a different color. So bus station is a computer IP or the host name. Driver is a user account, and the bus is a process. Okay, now for example, phishing attack happened. User clicked on that phishing link, submitted the credentials, attacker got the credentials, attacker will be logging now with the compromised credentials. What you have to verify? Okay, so which user clicked where, whenever any activity is happening through, whenever through a bus. For example, a user used a driver drove a bus from one station to another station, that is your machine, to the malicious websites, clicked on it, submit the credentials, and share the credential with the attacker. So we always identify who was our driver and what was the bus, who was using it. So it was a Chrome, for example, it was a Chrome, it was a Mozilla, the user is admin, Vikram, the computer machine is IP and the host name. Always understand this scenario. If there is any attack happening, if I will asking like user visiting a malicious websites, what you have to check? There is a bus sent from one machine to the other place. What was the bus? It's a process name, which user account, and where it happened, in which bus station it happened. Okay. So if you will know the user account, the process, and the machine name, you can solve any mystery in cybersecurity. You will know from where you have to start. Now recently I sold my book to somebody in a US. Okay, and that guy have shared me some scenarios, the questions he want me to solve that. I requested him if I can solve this on my YouTube channel, so it will be good for everybody, and he agreed on that. So I will be sharing my screen, I will be showing you those examples, and I will not be covering all answers, but I will be covering few, and maybe we'll be create another video, will become another live session, and we'll solve that. So now we know we are working as SOC in cybersecurity in a SOC department. Let me open that. Okay. So let me delete this. Let me delete this also. Okay. The scenario number one. Okay. The scenario number one. I'm not sure how he got it. I'm not sure from where he copied or he know this about this. He shared me. I'm telling you the answer. We have the date. We have the timing. We have the process. So understand, this is all about the log which is generated or being logged through the Windows security logs or Sysmon or maybe through EDR. The different variety of the way we can generate the similar logs. So for example, we are working in a SOC, we trigger some alert, attack detected. When we open the raw log, we found this particular activity. So now we have to understand what is it and to conclude, is it a true or false attack? Okay, so let's understand the date, the timing. There's a process name svc host exe, executed PowerShell with some parameters, the path of the particular application, the code. This is the code. If I don't know, I might close this false positive. I cannot see anything username. I cannot see anything something phishing, suspicious phishing. Something I cannot verify. If it is a good, if it is a bad, I don't know. But how a SOC analyst should think? What is the approach of a SOC analyst? So if you are in a cybersecurity, if you have seen similar case, understand, attacker will not try and send the code of the payload or the exploit directly to your machine. They will try to hide it from your security controls. They will try to hide it from the systems protections. They will try to hide the execution from the antivirus. They will try to hide it from the IPS, other solution, other security device also. So what is this string basically? Usually you would see when attacker compromised a machine, they try to run their code through base64 encoded. So this is the base64 decode. We have to decode this base64. So base64 is used to encode multiple, I would say there is so many information like MPG, MP3, there is a file executable, the different extension and the different format to represent the information. If I want to say like we want one format which we can encode multiple different information type of the values. In that case, base64 is also used. With base64 you can encode image, you can encode in text information. An attacker using base64 encoding mechanism to hide their exploit, to hide their payload. So now I don't know about base 64, for example. I'm understanding from a very basics investigation. How I'm telling you the way you should approach in your SOC. Okay. I don't know anything. Okay. So I'm thinking about this process SVC host. I'm not something PowerShell, but I don't know what is this code. So let's decode this code. Let's understand what is this code about. I'm copying this code, opening my browser. Incognito window. Okay, I'm coming, guys. Give me a minute. Okay, google.com English. Okay, let me bit zoom out. Okay, for example, if I want to search for the particular string, I will type base 64 decode, something like this. Yeah, if I have basic understanding, if I know this is base 64, I want to decode it. Let me open few websites. This one, one non website you can use cybersecurity as well. Cybersecurity. Yeah. This, for example, I have some base 64 string I pasted. I'm looking for to decode base 64. See, nothing. Okay, let me just come here. Input base 64. Okay, I got it. So I got this string. I got some code. This sleep -s66 get item property path. I don't know what is it. I'm opening this, for example, now. Let me just now represent it in a good format. Okay, so I got something. Let's try to create a new line after this semicolon. So I'm creating a new line. Okay, I don't know what is this. Sleep -7 -s66 semicolon, a new line. Let me just first break it. Semicolon, new line, semicolon, new line. So let's understand now also. Sleep, there's a command sleep, and there's some parameter -s for 66. Maybe it for second, I think it was second. Let's assume it's for second. I'm trying to wait for some time, for few seconds after some execution. I can see some variable hxmcc, then I can see some command like get item property, and there's a path. So path can be relative path or absolute path. I can read it hk plus cu plus. So if I will try to focus, right, I would see this plus sign is combining this. Let me delete this plus sign also. hk cu software Microsoft, right? Yeah, hkcu. What is hkcu? If you know about this, registry in Microsoft Windows operating system, you will understand this is about current user. The registry for the current user, the software, Microsoft, phone, and then some variable environment, then username plus 00. Then is a for loop, a try box, I'm deleting it. I'm creating a new line. Okay, okay, so I can't find something like this. I think this is written, I think C++. Okay, so let me read now it. If what I can understand, basic, right? I am not very expert. You are not expert. Let's try to understand it. There is a sleep command, some something get item property, some value getting fetched from the local registry of current user. This is the path of the registry. Then the for loop, then the try box, looking something, modifying something, then square root. I don't know what is it. For example, I don't know what is it going on. I can see there's some language in C, but I cannot write it. I cannot, I don't know what is basically the intention of the attacker behind it. Open test, but I can understand there is something wrong, some modification, something related to the registry access, and then there is a for loop doing something, opening some test, but I don't know what is it exactly. So what I can do now, I might be looking for this particular registry on the Google. Search for this. I find something, Joy Sandbox. Let's see. Oh, okay. I think it's the same kind of thing. Or let me click on this one. Bootloader and Cobalt Strike malware analysis. Let me search for my string. I didn't get it. Okay, let me just try to read it. So I think the first stage of the bootloader on the endpoint is JavaScript. So analyzing the first, there is some analysis done, right? So let's understand there is some JavaScript which is being opened or executed, and then something being called. So we can see once the script is decoded, you can see the domain contacted by the script to retrieve the next stage. So it's a multi-stage payload delivery. Analyzing the second stage JavaScript. So there's a first stage, analyzing the first stage and second stage. So what is the first and second stage? There is an attacker smartly playing in the world. They're not sending the payload or the exploit in one packet. They're splitting the packet into different payloads, into different stages. The first stage, an attacker will, and if your antivirus try to find some attack, it will always come as a nothing suspicious. It's clean because the payload is not delivered fully. There is the payload, the attack divided into different stages. The first stage is trying to get some information and then calling to the next stage payload. So we can see there is something similarly. Let's see if we can find something like, okay, sleep function is there, persistence PowerShell code, and I found the similar code here also. So now I can read once this payload and distribute it into registry keys, the scripts execute the PowerShell command. The first retrieve that .NET DLL from the Windows registry, reflectively loads it and execute a function with a DLL name test. So now we understand it. Okay, so don't always understand everything. No, never. You might not know everything, but you will doing the research. You're taking help from the others who have already decoded and using it in your investigation to conclude if it is a true or false positive. Okay, I can say this is a current user software Microsoft phone. So now I understand this is a multi-stage attack where I'm investigating. I got the payload of the first stage where attacker trying to execute some DLL with the name of the test through the .NET DLL from Windows registry. This is the first payload. In the second payload, we will have another attack, another code which we can decode later. So this is now confirmed to me. This is a true positive attack. There is something really going wrong in an endpoint. Okay, so this is the way a basic investigation start off. How a SOC analyst conclude if it is a true or false. So we identified there is some attack that is a true positive. This is a bootloader related to the bootloader, okay, which is related to JavaScript. attacker will try to open the JavaScript, and JavaScript may be delivered to the endpoint to the machine through phishing, through the website which user visiting, and then got executed, and then this first payload will deliver, and once it will be executed, it will try to call the other stage also. Okay, but this is a true incident. This is a, we can now call it, this is a good loader kind of attack, where basically multi-stage, and then we will be looking the second stage in the next video. I will not complete everything in a first video. Let's digest this. Okay, go through this video again, come with your questions. In my next video I will answer you, but first understand what I share in this video. If you have any questions, please put in the comment sections. Next time multiple scenarios, I will be going 1 2 3 4 5. I will show you everything in this video. You lost everything, you will not get anything. So better go by stage 1 2 3. Stage 1 is completed, we got one attack, we concluded it's a something true positive attack. We will be continuing this video maybe later time, but first let's digest this information. Okay, take care guys, thank you, bye bye.